you know my name if I saw you in heaven? Would you be the same if I saw you in heaven? I must be strong and carry on, 'cause I know I don't belong here in heaven.
Good afternoon, and on behalf of the family, welcome to the funeral for the late Linda Ivey Bussenschutt. My name is Bev Battams, and it's my privilege to conduct this service. Love doesn't end with dying or leave with the last breath. For someone you have loved dearly, love goes on forever. When someone we love dies, we are forced with trying to understand one of life's great mysteries. You may feel a great range of emotions: anger, pain, hurt, sorrow, and grief. But there is one thing that cannot be taken away, and that is the experience of loving and the experience of friendship. And nothing can change your love for Linda and her love for you. You see, nothing can detract from the happiness and closeness you shared with Linda, or as her grandchildren called her, Nana Buzzy. In time, sorrow may lessen, wounds may heal. However, importantly, the most valuable feature that remains will be your memories, your love, and the special moments you shared. Nothing can affect the happiness and the joy of life she knew. It can never be altered by time, circumstance, or even by death. What has been, the past with all its meaning, is sacred and secure. We will now have the candle ceremony, and I invite the families of Daryl, Shelley, Adrian, Stephen and Christopher to come forward to light these candles in memory of Linda's life. After the candles are lit, we will pause for a short moment. Let these candles symbolise all human life. A candle is a fragile flame and it can be extinguished by a gust of wind. A candle has its allotted span to burn, so a human life has its allotted span to live. Yet when it burns, for a short span or a long span of time, it radiates light and heat. As flame kindles flame, life begets life. The glow and heat, the passion of life are passed on. So long after the candle is extinguished or consumed, the fire of life and love still burns. Though the flame of Linda's life has been extinguished, your memory's eye still sees her, hears her voice, and your mind remembers the uniqueness of her personality. Let these candles also be a flame of peace and a presence of hope to you all. I would now like to invite Stephen to come forward now to read Linda's eulogy, and then there will be a photo presentation. And the family invites you to enjoy the memories and all the happy times.
So, just a little bit there, Biff. Today we're here to celebrate the life of Linda Ivey Bussenschutt, my mum, and how she's touched people here in the room, people who couldn't make it today, and also people along the journey. I'd just like to run through Mum's life a bit. Mum was born in Wallaroo in November 1940 in Goyder Street, just over the back fence from where she lived later on in Lindsay Street. Her parents, John, or better known as Jack, and Rose Bailey. Sort of important to consider the times in 1940. It was a tough life, very, very, very tough. The war had just broken out in Europe. Mum was born just after the Battle of Britain, so the world was in a pretty tough place. Her parents had just gone through the Great Depression with 3 children, and life was hard. So, Mum wasn't a baby boomer. She was another generation, according to Google, which is called the silent generation, otherwise known as the builders, for their hard work and resilience, and I suppose that was a necessity back then. Mum was the youngest of 6 children in the family: Marjorie, Irene, Ronnie, who passed before Mum was born, Uncle Keith, Uncle Colin, and then there was Mum. I'm pretty sure it was really tough, as I've said before. Mum always told me that, in the early days she had to wait for her sister to come home to get the pair of shoes so she could go up the street. That's something to think about. She went to school but didn't go very far past grade 7. Would have been pretty common in those days not to have a great education or a chance. She even played footy in her early days, so it's not really new now. Women playing football, Mum did that, many, many years ago, so something to think about. I don't really have much of an insight into Mum's early years, but you can just imagine and what happened around this area. Now, Mum's occupation on a marriage certificate was hairdresser. Well, I'm not quite sure, because if anyone in our family got Mum to cut her hair, I don't remember. I think that might have been a little bit of a licence. Grandpa Bailey, Jack, had various things, and he always had horses and dogs and a vegetable garden around the family. And he was a bit of a grafter. Life was tough. He did lots of different jobs. He wasn't an accountant or a lawyer or anything like that. It was tough times. Then one day Mum met Dad, a lovely young man who was racing around the community on his motorcycle or cars or utes or things. Donald Bussenschutt, pretending to be James Dean or Marlon Brando or something like that. You'll see in the photos later on. Dad was a father's son, and he loved fast cars, motorbikes, and was pretty successful at racing motorbikes at the time. So it was a bit of a tempo change for Mum when they met, I expect. Life was all about motorbikes, speed cars, gliders, and farm life from then on. Some stories, I think Michelle told me this story, that Dad used to make homemade gliders, which was a bit bizarre with his mates, and apparently Mum sat in one day and put a high heel through the bottom of the floor, so it wasn't very popular. Another one of Dad's pursuits, they went out on a speedboat at Wallaroo, and it was either overloaded or a pretty crappy boat, and she sunk, and Mum couldn't swim and nearly drowned Dad. So that was a bit of a story that we always heard. So consequently, Mum was a bit scared of water or going near it for the rest of her life after that near-death experience. In a little bit, I suppose it's hard not to talk about Dad because it was Mum and Dad back in those days. Dad always said that he had the choice. He could go to England and race motorbikes because he was pretty good at it, or he could settle down and have a family. Of course, us kids say, well, Dad, why didn't you go to England? Which would have been a bit weird because we wouldn't be here today at this point in time. So I'm pretty sure you made the right choice, Dad. I think you did a good job, and we can see why when we all know Mum. They were married in 1959 at the Canina Methodist Church, and then in 1960 the first bub arrived, Daryl. I haven't done the maths, but there wasn't any wasting time from that wedding day. They were pretty prolific in those days. And then it was the years or the phase of life living at Pascoeville. Mum and Dad spent a few years living at Pascoeville on the Bussenschutt farm with the in-laws, Ralph, or RS as we used to call him, and Nana Buzzy, Thelma. So that was a change. Some more kids arrived, Michelle or Shelley and Adrian, when we were in the Pascoeville eras. And then there was a big move around about 66 or 67, I suspect, to Port Wakefield. So the Pascoeville farm was sold, and Grandpa Buzzy bought 2 farms down at Port Wakefield, one at the Proof Range, and one just north of town where you probably see Bussenschutt Road up there on the signpost. So Dad and Uncle Bevan share farmed for quite a few years. And in 1967, number 4 child was born, really number 1, Stephen, and things kept going along at Port Wakefield, so I was the first one born there. 1968, I think Christopher was born. Now, I think he may have taken over, looking at the photographs over the slides that I've scanned. The little shit might have taken over number 1 because he's in all of them, and with his little bleach blonde hair. So that was Port Wakefield. Kids, we went to school there, I suppose, in Port Wakefield and Balaclava High School, as long as we could bear it. And friendships were formed with the Proof Range and people up there, families and communities in town. Also in our social connections with the Baileys and the Chittlebarras and the Bussenschutt families. I think farming was tough work. I keep saying tough. I don't know how I should go over that word, but I think farming was hard in those days. We had some good years, and probably it's easy to say that probably 1975 was a good year because we had a spanking new XB Falcon the next year with green and the vinyl roof and the V8 that Dad could afford. So couldn't afford the 351, but we got the 302. It was pretty good. So it must have been a good year. But no doubt there were some tough years on the farm. The farm was sheep and the cereal cropping, wool, fat lambs and barley. Dad used to do his best to plough the rocks around in circles and keep the sheep alive till they had a lamb and we could shear them. Mum worked hard in the Shell Roadhouse in Port Wakefield to give us kids the extra stuff we needed. I think Dad was a bit of a frugal farmer, and as you can imagine, and I think Mum just needed to have some money to spend on us kids, I'm sure. However, Dad did seem to find some money to go-kart racing and put some karts on the track for all the boys. And then that got a bit out of hand. We had Amanda and Greg and Uncle Wes and the whole family racing go-karts at Dublin at the go-kart club. And Mum didn't go to the karts too often because it was probably a little bit stressful for her after the first accident or two. So In the winter, Mum would do footy with the boys and drive us around all the places and wash the bloody clothes and keep us going and on the cold and rainy days. Let's be clear, I don't really understand how we all survived those years on the farm. You know, we had Dad's speed genes in us. We had plenty of time on our hands. We had cars and motorbikes, flammable liquids, guns. It's amazing, Mum, that you could patch us up and keep us going and get us through those years. So, in '84, Dad passed away, pretty suddenly, really. He was a very fit man, but he passed away not long after Mum moved into town, into Port Wakefield. And, you know, then I suppose the life of us kids grew up and moved away. Mum bought and sold a few houses around the place in Adelaide, and you know, I think she always searched for that connection again with family. She just wanted to be around family. More grandchildren started popping out, so they were everywhere. And Mum started travelling. You might not know, but Mum travelled quite a bit with family and friends. She travelled overseas to Singapore, America, Hong Kong, and a fair bit around Australia. So she had a bit of a travelling period. Mum loved the grandchildren and eventually all the great-grandchildren as well, of course. I think she had a unique connection with her children and a unique connection with their children and their children's children, if you might say so. We even added some overseas imports in, Georgie, Em and Jay, so she still had the connection with them as well, and she was their grandma, so that's important. Eventually Mum was drawn back to the Copper Triangle, where she was born, and she lived in Wallaroo for many years. She loved getting around in a little car. It was a social thing for her. It was tough the day she got picked up by the coppers, lost her licence. Mum had a slight temper that we might have found out then, and I copped a fair bit of it because I was probably the one that was making sure she didn't get her bloody licence back. So a few nice swear words occurred, and but Mum, you know, she moved on. And we had a bit of a COVID lockdown. COVID occurred in 2020, I suppose, and we had to quarantine Mum up at a chunga, and she had a few more swear words about me not giving her McDonald's again and again. So anyway, that's the history. And as I see it, and we'll have some more experiences to reminisce today, I hope. Hopefully pass on these memories going forward to family and all the kids here. So this is my last page. And it's a bit difficult, this one, for me. I'll see how we'll go. This is about Mum. I have to say, looking back at Mum's life, I really searched what it means to be a mum. Speaking about being a dad's a job. Let's be honest. Being a dad's a job. Some of us are good at it, some of us are not so good, and some of us are bad. But being a mum is an instinct. It's ground in, and it's a bond. And a mother and child's bond is indestructible. Mum will do anything for their children. And that's what Mum did. And I'd just like to say thanks, Mum, from Daryl, Shelley, Adrian, Christopher, our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. Mum will always love you.
when troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. When I am on your shoulders, you raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. Raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be.
It must have been cold there in my shadow to never have sunlight on your face. You were content to let me shine. You always walked a step behind. I was the one with all the glory, while you were the one with all the strength. Only a face without a name. I never once heard you complain. Could I have it all here in my heart? I want you to know I know the truth. I would be nothing without you. Did you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I would like to be. I can fly higher than an eagle. You are the wind beneath my wings. Did you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I would like to be. I can fly higher than an eagle. 'Cause you are the wind beneath my wings. You are the wind beneath my wings. You are the wind beneath my
The following is the family's tribute. To our beloved mum, our nana and auntie, sister and great-grandma. Our hearts ache with sadness, our secret tears flow. For what it meant to lose you, no one will ever know. Our thoughts are always with you, your place no one will fill. In life we loved you dearly, in death we love you still. The things we feel so deeply are the hardest things to say, but you will always be remembered in a very special way. I'd like to read this analogy, written by Jean Turberville Saunders. It's called The Train. At birth, we board the train and meet our parents, and we believe they will always travel by our side. As time goes by, other people will board the train, and they will be significant. Our siblings, friends, children, and even the love of your life. However, at some station, our parents will step down from the train, leaving a permanent vacuum. Some, however, will go so unnoticed that we don't realise they've vacated their seats. This train ride will be full of joy, sorrow, fantasy, expectations, hellos, goodbyes and farewells. Success consists of having a good relationship with all passengers, requiring that we give the best of ourselves. The mystery to everyone is this: we do not know at which station we ourselves will step down. So we must live in the best way, love, forgive, and offer the best of who we are. It is important to do this because when the time comes for us to step down and leave our seat empty, we should leave behind beautiful memories for those who will continue to travel on the train of life. As we approach the committal, I invite you to say with me or just reflect on the words of the Lord's Prayer. Let us pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Perhaps Linda would say these words to you today. Don't remember me with sadness. Don't remember me with tears. Remember all the laughter we've shared throughout the years. Now I am contented that my life was worthwhile, knowing that as I passed along the way, I made somebody smile. When you're walking down the street and you've got me on your mind, I'm walking in your footsteps, only half a step behind. So please don't be unhappy just because I'm out of sight. Remember my love and my memory each morning, noon and night. Linda's spirit is free, and she leaves this life satisfied in the knowledge that she has accomplished her tasks. Today your heart is full, remembering the times you shared with Linda. And you will, no doubt, forever cherish the memory of Linda's integrity, her friendship, and most of all, her love. We now come to the committal, and I would ask all who are able to please stand. Linda Ivey of Bussenschutt, your life we honour, your departure we accept, your memory we cherish. In grief at your death, but in gratitude for your life and for sharing it with you, we commit your body to be cremated. Ashes to ashes and dust to dust. Rest now, Linda, at the end of your days. Your work is done. Rest in the hearts and minds of all who have loved you. You may be seated. Thank you. Family and friends, may you find richness and example in your memories of Linda. May you find strength and support in your love for one another. And may you find peace in your hearts to face the future. Amen. I now invite Andrew Skinner, funeral director, to come forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Linda's family, grandchildren, great-grandchildren and extended family, I'd like to thank you all for the love and support you've shown by your attendance here this afternoon to say farewell to Linda. From here, I'm going to invite you to all come forward after the family to pay your silent tribute and have a moment here and reflect all those lovely memories you've seen on the slideshow there today. From that, we're going to head back to the Mostyn Paul Lounge at the other end of the building for light refreshments and a chance to celebrate all those lovely memories and reminisce all those lovely times out at Baskerville and Wallaroo and Port Wakefield. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the service for Linda Ivey Bussenschutt. Should all please stand as you come forward to pay your tributes. Thank you.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I never knew. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.